Hello, my friend. Tonight, I invite you to leave the modern world behind. For the next little while, there will be no phones, no emails, no deadlines, no alarms demanding your attention. Instead, we're going to travel back more than 700 years, back to a small medieval village somewhere in England, a place where life moved slowly, a place where people lived according to the rhythm of the seasons, and a place where, surprisingly, many peasants may have worked less than people often imagine today. So make yourself comfortable, close your eyes if you'd like, and let's begin. Imagine that it's still dark outside. The moon hangs low in the sky. A gentle mist drifts across the fields. The village is silent. No engines, no distant traffic, no glowing city lights, only the soft whisper of wind moving through trees. Small cottages stand quietly beside narrow dirt roads. Their roofs are covered with straw. Tiny windows glow faintly from the last embers of evening fires. Most of the villagers are asleep. Inside one of these cottages, a farmer lies beneath a thick wool blanket. His day has not started yet. In fact, very few people are awake. The rooster has not yet crowed. The church bell remains silent. And for now, the entire village rests peacefully. You might assume that medieval peasants spent every moment working. After all, that's what many people imagine. A life of endless labor. A life of constant exhaustion. A life with no breaks. But as we'll discover tonight, the truth is far more interesting, and perhaps much more relaxing. You see, medieval life followed nature's schedule. There were busy seasons. There were quiet seasons. There were festivals. There were holidays. And there were many moments when people simply rested. Slowly, the eastern horizon begins to brighten. A faint line of silver appears beneath the darkness. Birds begin to sing, one by one, softly at first, then a little louder. The farmer opens his eyes. He stretches slowly. There is no alarm clock, no smartphone beside his bed, no list of unread messages waiting for him. For a moment, he simply listens. The sounds of morning are enough. Nearby, his wife remains asleep. Their children sleep peacefully beside them. Entire families often shared the same room. Privacy, as we know it today, was rare, but there was comfort in being close together, especially during cold winter nights. The farmer rises carefully. He doesn't want to wake anyone. The stone floor feels cool beneath his feet. A few glowing coals remain in the fireplace. He kneels beside them. With practiced hands, he adds a small piece of wood. Soon, a tiny flame appears. Then another. The fire slowly comes back to life. Orange light begins dancing across the walls, and the cottage grows warm once again. Outside, dawn continues to spread across the countryside. Mist hangs over the fields like a soft blanket. The world feels calm, unhurried, peaceful. And unlike many people today, the farmer isn't rushing anywhere. His schedule depends largely on the season. If it's harvest time, the day will be busy, very busy. But if it's winter, things are different. Winter often brought slower days, shorter working hours, and more time spent indoors. This is one of the reasons historians sometimes suggest that medieval peasants may have worked less than modern workers. Not because life was easy, far from it. Life could be extremely difficult, but because work was not evenly distributed throughout the year. Instead, it followed nature. When the fields demanded attention, everyone worked. When the land rested, people rested too. And that rhythm shaped every part of their lives. The farmer steps outside. The morning air feels cool against his face. He looks across the fields. The sun is beginning to rise. Golden light touches the tops of distant trees. A horse stands quietly in a nearby pasture. A few chickens wander through the village. Everything feels slow, almost dreamlike, and perhaps that's because time itself moved differently here. There were no clocks hanging on walls. Most villagers had only a rough sense of the hour. Instead, they measured time through familiar events: sunrise, midday, sunset, church bells, the changing seasons. Life flowed naturally, without constant reminders, without endless schedules, without notifications demanding attention every few minutes. And as strange as it may sound, many people today might find that lifestyle surprisingly appealing. The farmer walks toward a nearby well. The village is beginning to wake. Smoke rises from chimneys. Doors open. Neighbors greet one another. Children rub sleep from their eyes. Another ordinary day has begun. And in this simple world, ordinary days were often enough. Because happiness didn't come from endless entertainment. It came from familiar routines, from community, from family, and from knowing exactly what the day would bring. The farmer smiles. The morning is beautiful. The fields are waiting. But there is still no rush, because unlike modern workers racing against the clock, his day belongs to the rhythm of nature itself, and that rhythm moves slowly, very slowly, just as we will continue our journey through this peaceful medieval village. Now, my friend, as the morning sun slowly rises above the village, let's continue our journey. The farmer has finished a simple breakfast. Nothing fancy. Perhaps a piece of bread, maybe some porridge, and a cup of weak ale. Surprisingly, water was not always the safest thing to drink in medieval times, so even children sometimes drank very weak ale during meals. Now the farmer walks toward the fields. The dirt road beneath his feet is familiar. He has walked this path thousands of times. Every bend in the road, every tree, every stone, known by heart. The village slowly disappears behind him. Ahead lies a wide sea of golden wheat. The morning sun casts long shadows across the land. A cool breeze moves through the grain, creating gentle waves that ripple endlessly across the field. The sight is beautiful, almost hypnotic, and for a moment, the farmer simply stands and watches. There is no hurry. The wheat isn't going anywhere. The day has only just begun. Now, when many people imagine farming in medieval times, they often picture endless, backbreaking labor. And yes, there were certainly difficult days, especially during planting and harvest seasons. But something many people forget is that agriculture depended entirely upon nature, and nature often forced people to wait. You could not rush a seed into growing. You could not order the rain to arrive earlier. You could not force the wheat to ripen. Much of farming involved patience, watching, waiting, and responding when the time was right. Today is a harvest day, one of the busiest periods of the year. The farmer joins several neighbors. Together they begin cutting wheat by hand. The work is repetitive, slow, steady. The sound of sickles moving through grain creates a soft rhythm. Slice, gather, tie, repeat. Slice, gather, tie, repeat. Hour after hour, the motion becomes almost meditative, like the ticking of an old clock or the sound of gentle rain against a window. The villagers work together. Conversation drifts across the field. No one is rushing. No one is checking emails. No one is attending meetings. Instead, they talk about weather, family, the church festival next month, and whether this year's harvest will be better than last year's. Simple conversations, simple concerns, simple lives. As the morning continues, the sun climbs higher, the air grows warmer, birds circle overhead, a horse pulls a wooden cart nearby. Children help gather loose stalks left behind in the field. Everyone contributes, even the youngest members of the village. But contrary to popular belief, children were not necessarily working every hour of every day. They also played games, explored nearby woods, and spent long hours simply being children. Life was demanding, yet it wasn't always work. Around midday, something interesting happens. The workers stop, completely. They rest. Today, many people eat lunch quickly at a desk, or while checking messages, or while commuting somewhere else. But medieval workers often took longer breaks, especially during busy agricultural work. The farmer sits beneath the shade of a tree. Nearby, others do the same. Someone unwraps bread, another shares cheese. Someone else offers onions from a small cloth bag. Simple food, but after hours in the field, it tastes wonderful. Nobody talks about productivity. Nobody worries about quarterly targets. Nobody discusses career advancement. Instead, they enjoy the sunshine, the breeze, and the rare pleasure of doing absolutely nothing for a little while. Time passes slowly, very slowly, and perhaps that's one of the biggest differences between their world and ours. Today, many people feel rushed almost constantly. But in the medieval village, life often moved according to natural rhythms, not artificial schedules. The afternoon eventually arrives. The workers return to the wheat. The same steady motions continue. Slice, gather, tie, repeat. The farmer wipes sweat from his forehead. The sun is warm now, but he doesn't feel overwhelmed. This work is familiar, predictable, and oddly comforting, because he knows exactly what needs to be done. There are no surprises, no endless stream of new responsibilities, just wheat, fields, sky, and time. Lots and lots of time. As shadows slowly begin to lengthen, the day's work starts coming to an end. The villagers gather the final bundles. The carts are loaded, tools are cleaned, and everyone prepares